going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day today. So, as you can see in the title of this video, it is absolutely true. I really did do this, and it's still growing today. I still hold my position. I still own this one stock that has made me that much money, and we'll get into that a little bit after story time. So, how did I get into this one position? Early on, I started trading individual stocks in my portfolio back in 2013. I bought my first ever stock, Amcor Technologies. I bought one share at like $9 a share, and then I sold it for $11 a share. Amcor Technologies. I knew nothing about semiconductors. I knew nothing about Amcor Technologies. I just so happened to have $20 in my brokerage account with Charles Schwab. And I actually also traded on the old Capital One investing platform. It was called ShareBuilder. That's very old school, and if you know what I'm talking about, then you are a real trader if you remember ShareBuilder by Capital One and Capital One Investing. But this one, if you know Charles Schwab, back in the day, back in 2013, they charged $8.95 for every trade you made. If you were to buy shares, it cost you $8.95. If you were to sell shares, it cost you $8.95. It was almost $17 to almost $18 to trade stocks both ways, buying and selling, on Charles Schwab. It was the most expensive trading platform, but it was worth it. They had a very above average platform, way better than ShareBuilder with Capital One, way better. Couldn't even compare. So, paying $4.95 for ShareBuilder versus $8.95 for, Charles Schwab, it was well worth it. It was well worth that fee back in the day. So my little Amcor Technology stock that I bought for $9, the commission alone was almost $9. So, I ended up spending $18 out of my $20 to buy an Amcor Technology stock. And then selling it, I basically had to front that money. So I had to put more money in order to actually sell that stock. Anyway, long story short, on my Charles Schwab trading platform in my brokerage account, I bought back in 2015, once I got a little bit more savvy, about 2 years after my first trade, 2015, I bought 5 shares of Microsoft for $50 a share. It's all very simple math. I swear these are the actual prices that I paid. I bought 5 shares of Microsoft at $50. So, I spent $250 on Microsoft, not including the commissions. Yes, back then in 2015, 5 years ago, there were the same $8.95 trade commissions, but I'm excluding that for this specific instance. I held on to that for about 3, maybe 6 months, that Microsoft position, and it was my first real profit that I was going to make in a trade. So I held out. I didn't have much money to start out with, to trade with. You might think $250 is not a lot of money. That was a lot of money to me. It still is every time if I were to buy something for $250 in the stock market, that's a lot of money. So back then, 5 years ago, this was all my money, but something was coming out. The stock that I wanted to buy that ended up making me, and it still is, over 1,240% return. I used the money from Microsoft I was anticipating this one stock and I needed to have it. So I sold my Microsoft position to buy it. But back to Microsoft, sold it for $55 a share. So remember, I bought 5 at $50 a share, and I sold it about 3 months later in order to have money to buy a position of an IPO stock at $55 a share. So I ended up making $5 a share. I ended up profiting $25 on Microsoft. In hindsight, that's actually really hard to say that I sold my Microsoft shares for $55 a share when as recently as a month or two ago, that was trading at $240. But I swear there is good news that I actually made more using that Microsoft money to buy an IPO'd stock in 2015 than I would have if I just held on to those 5 Microsoft shares and sold them today at like $250, $230. So anyway, now we're gonna get into the fun part of what I have been just non-stop rambling about in this video. What is this stock that has made me 13 times my money, 1,240% stock price return? Swear to God, it's the real deal. With that Microsoft money in 2015, I knew that Square was going to be a very big deal. My sister, who lived in San Francisco at the time, she's older than me, had friends that worked at this startup company called Square. And I knew about Square because I've seen small businesses back then all around me using little card swiper. Plug it into your smartphone, swipe your credit card. You're selling fruits on the side of the road. You're selling your knitted sweaters to your grandma's friends. Swipe their credit card with a reader that's input into your phone. That was how it was done. Anyone and everyone is now a small business entrepreneur, business maker. That's what Square did. My sister's friends who worked there at that startup at the time loved it, knew that it was going places. I took that information. She spoke highly of it. She lived in San Francisco and saw it. I saw Square in real life in the day-to-day kind of small businesses that you'd see. I decided to buy it at its IPO in 2015 at $13.50 a share. Not gonna say how many I bought. I did use that Microsoft money, but I also had a little bit more, so you can kind of start to guess there. And it now trades today. Today is October 5th, and it trades for $180 a share. I bought it at its IPO in 2015 for $13.50 a share. Now it's worth $180. Again, 13 times my money for a 1,240% return on investment. I've never sold a single share. Still, after 5 years, it's my longest position I've held, and I like the hold. Warren Buffett, buy and hold. I don't buy to sell. I really stopped doing that after I rode out this massive tsunami tidal wave with Square. So anyway, I really hope that you stuck through this part of the video to see what exactly I did leading up to buying a stock like that, how I bought a stock like that, where I bought a stock like that, and the kind of things that go into the insights in the real, if you know someone that knows a business really well that you're interested in because you hear about it or you see it in your day-to-day life, ask them. Don't be afraid to reach out to friends and family or maybe like your cousin or something like that works for a company that you've heard of. and they're a newish company, don't be afraid to go ask them for some insights, because one day that can make you 13 times your money. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.